and this reflects poorly on Josh Allen. Now we knew going into last year there was some tension specifically with Diggs. I wasn't aware necessarily of any tension with Gabe Davis, but if you're the Bills and you might entertain trade offers for Diggs because he's disgruntled, how and why do you let Gabe Davis go in the same off-season cycle? That just doesn't make sense. And so, clearly this is not a statement that people are, bending over backwards to play football with Josh Allen.
Right.
And that's not a good sign.
I guess you could say one of the biggest news of the day, man, is Houston, Texas. Houston Texans making a big trade for Stefon Diggs from the Buffalo Bills. We'll talk about the Bills side on the back end of this. Just speaking of the Houston Texans, they're doing what Pickett and I talk about all the time. You have a quarterback on a rookie deal. Go ahead, load him up, and make a run for it. Plenty of quarterbacks, even in recent memory, have been in the same predicament and have made big runs or made the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl. Even a quarterback that's in the news now, always for the wrong reasons, Russell Wilson. If you remember when he was on his rookie deal, that's when the Seahawks were the strongest and they were making this, the Super Bowl runs and things like
Legion
that.
of Doom.
And then when they had to pay him, they had to start letting all these guys go. So you got to do it now.
Yeah.
And man, they have a loaded team over there now because you remember they made the trade for or signed the Bengals Joe Mixon. Okay, so they got him over there in the backfield. They already had two young studs at receivers anyhow with Tank and the other guy. Their deep threat, and then you also have two tight ends who are really good, and and the defense is really good as well. What you think? Where does this put the Texans? Did this surprise you at all?
I was surprised. I didn't have any. I didn't hear anything that the Bills were looking to move Diggs or anything specific recently. So it did catch me off guard when I saw it. But I'll applaud the Texans. This is a great move. Following the game plan, load up your roster while you can financially do so, and accelerate your timetable and make a run.
But there was noise that Diggs wanted to be moved.
Big facts, yeah.
So it wasn't surprising that he got moved. Surprising that. Well, not even surprising that the Texans took a swing at it, is because I thought that he wanted to be moved too. I think Josh Allen gets like this praise that I don't understand. I don't understand the Josh Allen praise.
Yeah, and this leaves the Bills in a unfavorable. They've lost what four captains, 4 of 6 captains from last season, and maybe 1 or 2 more even.
And Gabe Davis and other receivers gone.
Yeah, lost a couple guys on defense, couple of premier defenders.
Well, you talk about the Josh Allen thing, and this reflects poorly on Josh Allen. Now we knew going into last year there was some tension specifically with Diggs. I wasn't aware necessarily of any tension with Gabe Davis, but if you're the Bills and you might entertain trade offers for Diggs because he's disgruntled, how and why do you let Gabe Davis go in the same off-season cycle? That just doesn't make sense. And so clearly this is not a statement that people are bending over backwards to play football with Josh Allen.
Right.
And that's not a good sign, because Buffalo, again, it's one of those northern hellholes. You're not going to draw a lot of free agents to go to play with the Bills and Josh Allen, and you've lost 2 guys that have a lot of talent, and really a guy that's been probably your best player.
Yeah, so they've lost 2 starting linebackers, two players in there, 2 starters in their defensive backfield, and their 2 starting receivers and their starting center. All in this offseason.
7 starters.
Yeah, but
have they signed anybody?
But a part of the reason why they had to dump those guys is because they basically did what the Texans are doing now, where they basically went all in on Josh Allen, and now they don't have the money.
Paying
so he had to cash that in last year or the year before,
and he did not.
He didn't, which I don't know why they thought he would.
Well, I do not think he did not live up to the billing. They were underwhelming and all of that. Every word, every adjective you can use, right? But you have to do it. Josh Allen was good enough to where you had to load that team up, make those moves, make those sacrifices, and see where it went. And I was reading something earlier where it was like the biggest win that the Buffalo Bills had in this era was the loss to Kansas City.
Yeah, they say that. But
the epic game.
The epic game.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
their biggest win. It was a loss.
Yeah.
And that was it. Pretty much everything else it's been, underwhelming from the Bills standpoint. But you do it all over again tomorrow. You just have to. It's
Yeah,
just
but
what you have to do.
and I mean I get that, but I just feel like the media built up Josh Allen.
They was calling him and Mahomes about
because
Brady
and it never was
Manning.
it never was close. Like so that was the weirdest thing, and they kind of set him up for failure because you comparing him to who will be the greatest quarterback of this generation, and you're saying that he's the second greatest of that generation. Not only so when you say stuff like he's number 2 to Mahomes. Right. You're not only saying that he's the second best of the generation, you're saying that he's an all-time second, and he's not. No. I really think C.J. Stroud is who they think he is.
We'll see. I mean, we can't rush to judgment on any of these things.
True.
My thing, Josh Allen came into the draft as kind of like a raw prospect with a lot of physical tools, and he made some progress early. While, to be fair, a lot of the rest of that draft class kind of shit the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so he was a little bit the last man standing. And, that got people excited. I mean, again, before he got to Buffalo, they're pretty crap.
Yeah.
And since he's been there, they haven't won a title, but they've been a playoff team, a contending team. And I do think, personally, the hype train really caught fire with that Kansas City game.
Yeah.
And, I watched that game. He looked amazing. And, when you look at players and they give you great performance, you always feel like with a little bit more time, he's going to just get better and better and better. That hasn't been the case.
Right. Yeah.
That's the reality. And that's why when we talk about C.J. Stroud, I'm urging caution.
Right.
He had a fantastic rookie year. Let's see if he continues to build the level of his play without any regression. And the Texans, to their credit, they're giving him all the tools. They're taking away, pretty much any excuse he's going to have not to perform at a very high level, and it's on him.
Yeah, I don't really evaluate quarterbacks until they get that first paycheck, because so many of them have succeeded with this model to where it's almost as if you do not succeed with this model, something is wrong with you.
Well, I won't say it's so many.
It is.
It's kind of the Mahomes effect because Mahomes has had unprecedented success.
Take Mahomes out of
it. But that's why people are judging everybody on such a curve because Mahomes came out so fast. Mahomes is all-time great if he never throws another touchdown.
Yeah.
So now his contemporaries, they have to elevate them so high for it to even be worth the conversation.
Well, a couple things I'll address on that. I think, and this is a point, a drum Bubba's been banging for a while, but you go back to like Colin Kaepernick in San Francisco, Russell Wilson in Seattle, and these really predate Mahomes.
Joe Burrow.
And Joe Burrow's a little after that.
Yeah.
But that's where we saw like a consistent trend that if you have a talented quarterback on a rookie deal and your team does a good job of building the roster around you,
right.
And we could even put Jalen Hurts in that category with the Super Bowl run, because they were able to go out and get A.J. Brown, get some other pieces.
Right.
And they did that. And so there's definitely a thing in football, rookie contract, build your roster, and you can contend. Now, the guy can't be crap. He's got to be a player.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
But, the Mahomes thing, and in my view, and I think we talked about this during the year, Mahomes is now at a level, and he's dominated anybody who's a contemporary. The only Mahomes discussion is chasing the Brady accomplishments.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's his only pair. He's where LeBron is, where the only guy you compare him to is Jordan, and that is what it is. And he continues to stay healthy and stack numbers. You're going to have a thing where people are just going to, hey, this is the best guy that's already played. That's already started. I mean, there's people you can't convince that Pat Mahomes is not the best quarterback to ever live. And I'm with that. I'm okay with that. He does not have a contemporary,
and that's a part of the reason why they pumped up Josh Allen. They'll pump up C.J. Stroud because the only way that he will have the only people who will win Super Bowls under this Mahomes reign will be guys who are on their rookie deals. It will be guys where they built the team around them. Like C.J. Stroud, in the next few years, if he continues the upward trajectory, he'll win the Super Bowl just because they put all the pieces in place. I don't think Josh Allen's that guy who will do that. I think Joe Burrow may have a chance. But other than that, anybody else after their rookie deal who's got paid, the Dax and I guess Russell's out of that now, but even though he'll get a starting job for a while.
What do you feel after this move here? Where does this put Lamar at now?
Lamar's going to fizzle because he's going to have maybe a couple more years of just fantastic, dynamic play, but he's not going to win nothing. He's going to be Michael Vick. He's going to be Kaepernick at a greater extent, or Cam Newton at a greater extent, where he's just a dynamic player, and a part of him being so dynamic makes him hard to win because a lot of the magic is he has to do it himself, and you can't win doing it yourself. I haven't seen the guy.
What's your take on that? And that's not a bad take at all. What you just said there, that's fair.
No, I mean, yeah. Lamar has hit a hurdle he can't get over in his career right now, and unless he breaks over that hurdle and wins something, he's just going to be this guy who's a brilliant individual performer that never got it done. That's going to be his career. Now, competitively, right now, not the worst thing in the world to be a little bit under the radar, which I think he's back in.
Right.
He lost the Chiefs game. Now you've got the C.J. Stroud hype and this and that. And we watched that game together, I think. And I said, like, for C.J. Stroud, when they played the Ravens, this is a big game. I mean, if he could have beat Lamar in that moment, it would have even pushed him further. But I think right now, Pat's untouchable. C.J. Stroud, with these moves, you're looking at him probably being the next guy in the AFC over Lamar and the Ravens. And so Lamar and the Ravens, I think the target's off you a little bit. Maybe the talking points will be elsewhere. And if you just go try and do it, the hurdle's still there. It ain't gone.
Taking the hype out of it, which I know is hard to do, is there another quarterback you will take over C.J. Stroud, outside of C.J. Stroud, outside of Pat Mahomes, obviously? Is there another quarterback you're 100% like, yeah, I'll take that. I'm taking this guy?
Not anybody that got paid already. Everybody that got paid, I think that's where they are. Like, because in order to get paid, you have to take money that would have been used for a dynamic receiver or a dynamic running back, or so these guys who are getting $60 million a year, I think those guys are kind of set where they are. A couple of them may eke out a Super Bowl, one or two, but for the most part, I think Stroud has the best chance. I think Joe Burrow has the best chance if he can stay healthy. But other than those two, I don't see anybody who hasn't got paid. I mean, who has got paid?
I don't really put it so much. I mean, I get the argument that we're making with getting paid affects your roster, and that's a real thing. But just taking it in a vacuum, who do I take over him? Burrow's the only one right now that kind of I'm thinking about, and I'm not sold on it. But that's
probably only because of health, right? I mean,
because of health.
Well, health has a big place.
It's a concern. He was not healthy, and he's really had 2 seasons now in his career when he hasn't been healthy. And so, but I also look at it like this: the reality is, like, C.J. Stroud, he's kind of like a blank canvas. There's no knocks on him. He played 1 year
because it's so early. Yeah,
we don't know yet. Joe Burrow's given us this little red flag with health. Josh Allen gives us this inconsistent performance and untimely turnover. Lamar just can't get it done in the playoffs. So these other guys, there's enough history. Dak, there's enough data points to say that here's where this guy's limitations are, and just where we are with Stroud, it's too early to tell.
Yeah,
he may have some very real limitations that reveal themselves. He may not.
Right.
But we don't know as we sit here now.
Right.
But credit to the Texans. They're being bold while they can and giving this guy every opportunity.